Hello, welcome class to week 7. I want to go over a few things for this week. First, this is the template that you'll see attached to week 8, and this is what your study will look like once you finish writing it. You'll start off with the title page, then the table of contents, and it'll have page numbers, so you'll list everything as it is in order. This week, you guys are responsible for turning in an abstract and the discussion section. I'm just showing you this right now so you can see what it will all look like when you put it together. But for this week, since you just have the abstract and the discussion sections that can go just on one page, I don't need you to turn in this whole template. First, let me say I do appreciate the hard work that you guys are putting into all of this writing. I know it's very difficult, especially if this is the first time that you're writing for research or for a professional type of paper. So I understand that there's a lot of work that goes into this, and I definitely appreciate the hard work that you guys are putting in. And so I'm taking that into account as I'm grading the papers that you're turning in, and trust me, I'll have grace on a lot of the errors that I find, and usually when I put feedback for each of those assignments, I'm giving it to you in a way that it makes you think a little bit, and then also helps you look for those type of errors as you keep writing. But please take it in a positive manner. I don't mean it to sound like I'm nitpicking everything. I just want you guys to do your best. So obviously this is going to be the final product. So by the last week, I mean, it'll still be kind of hard to write, but if you're following the feedback that I'm giving you, it shouldn't take you, all night or several nights to write the final paper, because most of it will have already been written and corrected. So let me move over here. For this week, you'll have quiz 7, and you can find, a lot of the answers are going to be from the slideshow and your reading from chapters 9 and 10. And you have already, read a little bit through that because you had to use chapter 9 to do your battery test, your battery of tests. Next is the assignment 5. So assignment 5 is a qualitative survey design. We didn't really touch on this subject too much, and it's the other side of research that this class doesn't cover too much. Everything that you guys are doing is mainly quantitative type of research. But in qualitative research, what we're looking for is a little bit more of a deeper meaning of some sort of intervention or medicine or anything like that. So the questions will be, you'll see open-ended questions, you'll see, multiple choice questions, but with certain topics in mind. And for this survey design, or I'm sorry, for this survey that you'll be creating, it's going to be related to the study that you've just created. So try to think about what information or what deeper meaning from your study would you want to assess in your participants. For example, one of the mock research projects that I talked about earlier, like was the VO2 max study, where there was a high intensity interval training group and there was a continuous endurance training group. So a design or a survey that could be designed for that would be, how compliant or, how likely are athletes or the general population going to be, how likely are they going to be to complete a certain type of training? So who better to ask than the participants that just went through a study? They would be really good subjects to ask, hey, did you like the type of training? Do you think you would continue to do this type of training? Or did you feel like it was not beneficial for you, even if you did see positive results? Did you think that there's a better way of training? These are the type of questions that could be asked for this specific research project that would make a good survey. So think about your study, what implications it has on the general population, and also on your specific population, and what opinions you would want to hear from your participants. What kind of feedback would you want? And once you have a good general topic, you can start writing down questions and um, try to follow the structure that it's given in the book to create this survey. So if you look on chapter 8, pages 180 through 186, it talks about questionnaires and surveys and how to create them, the different parameters that are involved. I'm not going to be too strict on how you guys create them, but try to follow all the recommendations that are given in the book. The other thing I've done is I've posted this link right here that will take you to a video lecture about creating surveys. If you start on the slide that says survey design through the end of the video, then that's what will be more relevant to what we're talking about today. The rest of the lecture, I mean, you guys can watch it all, but it's not really pertinent to this assignment. And finally, your Cap 7, the abstract and discussion sections of your paper. So there's a couple links here, and actually I tried them out right now. I don't think they're working. The Purdue OWL PDF that talks about abstracts, and then the example of a study where you can see the abstract and discussion sections. This article here, you already have it. It was posted the last several weeks, so it's the same study. This article here, or this PDF, you can find on the Purdue OWL website, and I've been recommending for you guys to look into that website. I'm not sure if any of you have gone over there, but it was on week 0, the learning activities, and there was a link there that you can go to. This is what the website looks like, and you can go. It has a lot of different links here that will take you to specific topics. And if you go to the APA sample paper, it'll give you a full paper of an APA style, what it's supposed to look like. And you can blow this up and it will look like this. And so it'll tell you need this running head, where the page number should be, how you should make your title page. You won't need this author note. And here's the abstract. So it gives you a good example of what your abstract should look like. It shows you how the first page should look like. It should have the title of the study right up here. It doesn't need to say introduction or anything like that. Just the title of the paper, regular font. And then it goes through and gives you a lot of little notes of how to cite everything, how you're supposed to put your subheadings. So if you look further down here, there's your discussion section. So in the instructions for the abstract and the discussion section, it tells you need this to be less than 250 words. It should just be one paragraph, and it just gives a brief synopsis of the purpose, methods, results, and conclusion of the paper. And then finally, the discussion. So here we give a brief summary of all the different parts of the paper. But notice that this section and this section here are going to be the biggest portions of your discussion. So comparison of your findings to previous literature. What that means is you have to compare and contrast what you found in your study to what you read in all the articles that you found. Now remember, this is a mock research project, so you made up all the data. So it kind of depends on what numbers you made up. If you made them close to what you found in other studies, then you're going to be mostly comparing them and noting similarities. But if you use numbers that were completely off of or completely different than what other studies use, then you're going to be mostly saying that you didn't find many similarities, and that your study is an outlier of all the other studies. Either way, you have to, there's no right or wrong there. It's just you're going to have to make some good arguments as far as, um, how this is going to add to the literature, um, and how, this is going to, your study was maybe, one of the first to prove something, or one of the first to demonstrate a certain finding. And then this section here, explanation of any novel finding. So again, kind of going back to what created as far as the data. If it's something brand new, then this is where you can discuss that. It says, if you found something that hadn't been demonstrated in previous literature, why do you think you got those results? So this is where you can start analyzing your data a little bit and the results from the statistics that you got. And you have to explain them. So if, for example, you tested VO2 max on comparing the high intensity interval training compared to the endurance training, and somehow the endurance training group, you noted that they had higher VO2s after the training program, then come up with a good reason for that. Say maybe the participants in the high intensity interval group, maybe they were older, or they weren't as physically fit as the participants in the endurance group. Just try to think of those type of things, and also read the discussion section and other articles and see what kind of reasoning they come up with. That'll help you write this part of the discussion. And finally, conclusions, limitations, and recommendations. Again, read some of the other articles like that you found, and you'll see what type of limitations they write and recommendations. So this is where you get to recommend to the reader, hey, this is what my study found, but if you're planning on doing more research on this, this is what you should be looking for. And you don't want to say it plainly like that, but I'm just saying, in essence, that's what you want to state. Of course, you're going to be writing it in a professional manner. Okay, and let's see. Remember to use in-text citations, provide references. So all those examples you'll find in that in the Purdue OWL website, where they gave you that example of that paper. Here's the link as well. And let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. So if you have any questions, just let me know. I know this part of the class, I mean, these are the last 2 weeks, so just do your best. Trust me, I will have grace on all of your writing. I know it's a lot of hard work, but just show me that you're really trying your best, that you're taking the feedback that I've given you and that you've applied it, and that you're learning from that. So just do your best, and I will talk to you guys next week. Have a great week.